Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the Unpredictable Podcast Show. I'm your host, Mr. JR, J Reaper,
I am Mr. Versace.
and there's Mr. Versace in the building. Mr. Versace's in rare form tonight, y'all. Look at Mr. Versace, I'm gonna tell you something.
What? What you
You
say?
have now set the bar, the expectation. Okay? I see Mr. Versace, the Versace robe,
Yep.
the Versace shades, with the
Yep.
Versace chain on. God damn it, could we get this as a standard? Like, could
Okay.
this be the look?
All right.
If
This will be the
if if,
look.
if you run with this, I promise you, come Friday, I'm gonna promote by Monday's episode. We're gonna have at least 40 people in this room.
All right. I'll run with this.
But I need Mr. Versace to show up like Mr. Versace, not
All right.
who
I'll
done
run with it.
it. I mean, it's in your name. You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
run with it.
All right, all right. Thank y'all for joining in tonight. Tonight going to be the 12th episode, titled "What's That?" Just some random ass title I came up with. It's May 2nd, 2022. Tonight's topic is going to bounce back. Talked about a few things we talked about before, and then we're going to spring forward and kind of update some things in reference to war and all the other stuff. This is like, you got anything you want to start off before we kick these things off?
Yeah.
All right.
But you want me to get into it or?
Oh, yeah. Well, if you want to start off, because remember we had the daily knowledge that we were supposed to,
Yeah.
that we kind of fell off of doing.
Yeah. That did fall.
We
We
were
need to get
supposed
back
to.
on track with that. We need to get back on
We'll,
track with our daily
we'll,
knowledge.
yeah, we'll make sure we give you guys some nuggets to hold on to at the beginning of the show, because we started it, so we got to finish it. So, all right, Mr. Flashy, you can go ahead and kick us off.
All right. So my concern is this. So when is enough when it comes to this Ukrainian war? We
Okay.
talk about genocide being a reason for NATO to step in and
Okay.
intervene in any conflict.
All
Well, it's
right.
plenty of evidence that there's been widespread genocide, and yet we
True.
are still sitting back doing nothing.
Twiddling our thumbs.
Like, are we that afraid of a little short midget pushing a button? Like, he's not
Yes,
the only person on this planet with a button. And I think he
that's what
values his life and the lives of his loved ones just as much as the rest of us.
you know
But
what it is.
he's using that fear against us because he knows that as most Americans, especially our political leaders, are afraid of that.
But here's the thing, though. Here's one underlying reason why. Like you mentioned, a lot of people got the button, but who's the one that's most unstable? See, one thing when you talk about like fights, right? No one wants to fight the crazy dude in the corner. He may not
I,
be as tall as you. He may not.
that
No. Look. So hold on. But I know exactly what you're gonna try to do. You're gonna try to use yourself or myself, and that's not
mm-mm.
fair. We talking about the country, all right? We
No,
talking like,
I'm looking at him. Think
yeah,
about this. If you playing he playing poker right now. He wants you to believe that
yes,
this man has a wife, a young
yeah,
wife. He has kids. He has loved ones. I don't care
yeah,
what y'all say. He cares about them.
yeah, yeah. They
And he
actually said
knows
that.
if he pushes that button, they're gone too.
Well, they actually said the reason he planned on doing this now is he's getting older and he wants to have a legacy and he wants to be known for something. They said that they feel that's based on what he's been saying. Like he wanted his name to be stamped on something, so he's fighting for something. So
But I still call his bluff.
okay, all right,
I still that's the whole thing about to me. That's the whole thing about propaganda is what that shock. Remember we used to say shock and awe.
yeah,
The U.S. likes to use shock and awe, right? He
yeah,
likes to perpetuate fear,
oh yeah,
and Donald Trump told him that. Donald
yeah,
Trump told him that all he has to do. This is what I believe. There's no proof, but I believe Donald Trump told him that all he has to do is blase blase say this, and they'll back down. You be able to do whatever you want to do, they'll back down because Americans' worst fear is a nuclear war.
Oh yeah. Even though here's the crazy part, we've
So
never
if
felt
he
the
propagates that, yeah,
we've never felt the other side of nuclear war, like all these other countries, but we're more scared of it than anybody else.
right, right, and that's what people know. The war,
Yeah.
we've always taken the war to other countries. The
Yeah,
one time that it did come here,
the one
it went to
time.
Pearl Harbor, and that was it. They didn't
Yeah.
get no further than Pearl Harbor.
Because I mean,
And
other
like to
countries,
me, like
other
you talked
countries.
about it with your guns, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Like you say all the time, like you believe you advocate for guns because if another man has a gun, you need a gun to deter him, right? If only
But
one man has that gun, you kind of stuck,
yeah, you stuck
right?
like jelly. You got a gun, I don't got a gun.
So
Who wins? You win
it's
every
the
time.
fear,
It's a fear.
right?
Yeah.
It's the fear.
Yeah.
And that's what, to me, that's what he's relying on. Yeah, y'all got nuclear weapons, U.S., but you ain't gonna use them. So what am I worried about? You're not gonna use them. Y'all too afraid to use them. You're too afraid of what the rest of the international world is gonna say, number one,
Yeah.
and you're too afraid of losing votes, number two.
Oh.
That's what you're afraid of.
happen?
So, and Putin knows this. Putin, like, I'm a dictator. I do what the hell I want to do when I want to do it. I know y'all are scared of this, so I'm just going to threaten y'all and going about my business. And it's worked. It's worked. So, what's to stop him, like right now? Okay, so let's think about this. Oh, if you attack Poland, that's a NATO country. Oh, then it's on. What? Let's listen to that. You can wipe out a whole country. We don't worry about that because they're not part of NATO. But let 1 inch touch a NATO country. Oh, it's on. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Out of here.
You know what it's equivalent to? It's like we'll I just went brain dead real quick. Keep going, I'll come back to it.
All right. So, and the reason why I say when's it going to end?
Yeah.
Because they keep finding more and more mass graves. Like the atrocities that are happening now in this short period of time exceed what Adolf Hitler did to the Jews based on time.
Yeah,
based on time. And we say that was genocide. They've intercepted messages saying that they don't believe Ukrainians should even exist.
Damn.
He's wiping out hospitals. He's wiping out schools. They found evidence of children being bound and shot in the head. That's genocide.
The definition, the clinical definition.
Clinical definition of genocide. And he's still doing it now. So, like, what more do you need?
What does it take for somebody to say, okay,
what does it take?
I don't know. You know what I think it's going to take?
What's it going to take?
Somehow it's landing on our doorstep or directly affecting
You could
us.
make it land on our doorstep. I told you how. We have a U.S. embassy. Touch the U.S. embassy.
Yeah.
All calls are gone.
Research. Where is hold on? I'm gonna look at where's the U.S. embassy located?
Because they talked about today. They talk about going back to the U.S. embassy in Ukraine by the end of the month. Because they all left. And they were asking when would they return to the U.S. embassy. They said by the end of the month. Another thing that they see is these Russian soldiers are killing people to steal their valuables. Like, I mean, I'm talking about now to them, their valuables, washing machines, dryers, TVs, because I think a lot of the world does not know. I don't know how many of our listeners know that the only modern country or city in Russia is Moscow.
Yes.
Everywhere else is desolate. They live like it's the 1920s.
Yeah, they're a little behind.
They're way behind. Yeah. They have one TV station or maybe a couple that are state ran. What?
I'm looking at the U.S. embassy in Ukraine. Holy shit! I've seen some U.S. embassy. This is a big ass embassy. Oh, my bad.
Another thing I want to educate our listeners. They use outhouses in Russia. They don't know what a toilet looks like. They're very primitive in Russia. And these people, and everybody's asking, well, how can they do this? How can they do that? Because they have a primitive mindset.
Yeah.
That's how they can go in and slaughter children and women, because they live so primitively.
Yeah, same way we did. I'm gonna share the screen real quick.
Go ahead. That's the U.S. Embassy. Yes.
Bruh,
Touch it.
what? Huh?
Touch it. That's what I'm saying. I dare you to come touch it. It's in Kyiv, so I dare you to come touch it. Come touch it. Let one iota of a Russian anything
Oh,
touch
we got a basketball court back there.
and it's over.
We got a
It's over.
basketball court. That's crazy.
Like, that's all you have to say. And that's another thing. Okay, the UN, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to get permission from Russia to go in it. No, you don't.
Hold on, what? Oh, no. Who said that?
You're going in for humanitarian aid.
Yes.
And I would say, hey, if you mess with one of us, it's on. Like, why don't we have no balls? Like, why does he have all the power? I just want to know that answer. Why does he have all the power?
So here's what happens. We will say, oh, if you do, we keep moving the goalposts to make sure we don't have, like, if you do this, we're going to get involved. Kind of like you're talking about Poland. Well, you check any of these other cities. Hold on, he's committed multiple war crimes, right? But yet we still not do nothing. We draw the line, and as soon as he steps on it, we make a new line. Like, then he don't continue to call our bluff until we actually do something.
And you know what the sad part about it is? We're paying for this war.
Yeah, we're paying for more than anybody.
Billions. But we broke as hell. I don't understand it. I don't understand that. You letting this man control. You think you have him under control? Right now, he's controlling us, to me. That's what I believe. We do what he says when he says to do it. You tell me one thing that we've done on our own without any referendum from him. I'm sorry. Any referendum from him. One thing that we've done.
I can't name a single thing, man.
Not one thing. No. It's always, if he says we can't, then we can't do it.
Yeah. So what is it going to take? What is it going to take for us to say?
That's the magic question. Huh? That's the magic question. And how long?
How long?
Right, so then the other topic is women.
Oh, okay.
Women. Okay. Now, me as a father of a couple of stepdaughters and my daughter, my daughter's grown now, 27 years old. I cannot tell her what to do with her life. I can advise her. Yeah. I'm her dad, and I cannot tell her what to do with her life.
True.
What the hell makes you think the government should be able to tell my daughter what to do with her life? Answer that for me. Why should I give the government permission to tell my daughter what to do with her life? Help me understand that. When she was in college, the only way I could have any knowledge of anything that was going on as far as finances and grades was if she gave me permission through the school to access those records. True. If she didn't give permission for me to access them, I had no say so. None at all. But you telling me the government can tell her what to do with her life? Get out of here.
You know what? I'm glad you brought this up. So glad, because I was just listening to a podcast we did that earlier, and it's not the same, but it's kind of on the same level of that.
Okay.
And the debate was talking about women and how they have the right that men don't. And then someone's like, well, it's her body. And the guy was like, okay, it's her body, right? We're going to say it's her body. But if a guy says, I ain't worth the shit. But he basically said this. The guy says, I don't want the kid. I don't want nothing to do with it. Why is he financially obligated for 18 years, right? He said, because it takes two. He said, okay, now let's flip this. Any woman that you see that gives their kid up for adoption, they are literally praising her. Oh my God, you did what was best for the kid. You this. Hold on the mantle. When the guy said, hey, look, I ain't shit. I won't do nothing to the kid. It's the complete opposite. But now, on that same token, let's say if the father wants to keep the child, and the mom
don't say so.
is with the shits. Don't say so.
No say so.
Make that make sense. Coach, make that make sense to me.
I've had this discussion about 30 years ago.
Okay.
And yeah, this has been discussed a long time ago.
Right.
And it was also discussed about the child support issue me and you had talked about a couple weeks ago. And that's how it all came together. So my thought on it was this, and I told you before, and this is why when it comes to intimacy or sexual intercourse, it's more emotional for a woman than it is for most women than it is for men. A woman is I told you before, a woman is allowing a man to enter into her physically, literally and physically enter into her. All right. If she winds up being pregnant, she's the one that has to bear the burden of carrying that child or choosing not to carry that child. And we're saying that if the man wanted to keep it, well, the man doesn't bear the burden of carrying that child.
Okay.
A man pretty much just plants the seed. So it's just like let's use agriculture.
Yeah.
You have a farmer plant the seed, right?
Yeah.
Somebody got to water the seed. Somebody got to fertilize it.
Yes.
If it doesn't get water fertilized, that seed dies. No seed.
Yeah.
So
True.
in the case of the man's a farmer. He just plants the seed. He goes about his own business. The woman has to bear the burden of fertilizing, nurturing for X amount of months.
Yeah.
That's why.
But I get that. But why is it not? Look, so hold on. I understand that. But when it's flipped, why is it not the same?
What do you mean when it's flipped? When
you said, okay, if a man wants to keep it, he's not the one having to wait the 9 months.
Right, he doesn't bear the burden. Right.
But what if off Jump Street, she talking about I'm on the pill and all this other stuff. She ends up pregnant. I don't want the kid. I don't want no kid. Well, I'm gonna have this kid. And now that man, even though he doesn't want shit to have to do with it, he's not a part of the process of holding the kid.
Right.
Now for the next 18 years, he has
because he has an option. If you don't want a kid, yes, he does. If you don't want a kid, castrate or get prophylactics.
Man, but see, hold on. We gotta start at the wrong level here, right?
What?
Because you said that, let's say if everything was neutral, right? They both consent. They have a kid.
I get that.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? He wants to have a kid. She don't. Right.
Right.
And she wants to abort. You saying, well, she has a right to. She has the same fucking. Go ahead.
Because she has to bear the burden of carrying the child. The man can just walk away and a man can impregnate 30 women in one night.
Yes.
A woman can only get pregnant once by that man that night.
Yes.
So no, it's not the same. That man, I could have sex with Mary at 8, Jane at 8:30, Lisa at 9, Karen at 9:30. And impregnate every last one of them.
Bro, you got some super swimmers if you're doing that.
Shut up. I'm just saying.
Yo.
That's why.
After 2, bro, you ain't getting nothing. You about to get some dry human.
Once a woman is pregnant, she's not getting pregnant again. It ain't like she had sex with Greg and then 2 hours later she'll get pregnant by Bill if she's already was impregnated or fertilized by Greg. No.
I understand that. But what you're saying is that if the woman gets pregnant, she has a right to choose, right?
Because she has to bear the burden. That's my argument.
So a man doesn't have a right.
No, he doesn't have to. If the men had to carry the baby,
I'm using your own narrative. Your narrative is like he could have took precautions to ensure he had a. Why couldn't she take the same precautions?
But the biggest argument is who has to bear the burden.
No,
at the end of the day.
I get that.
That's the huge. That's the biggest thing.
But what I'm thinking, let me get to that point. Right now we're doing apples to apples. Now oranges. We're gonna do that. So
you can't do apples to apples, oranges to oranges in this case because of the burden part.
Look here, there are 2 different organisms. I completely understand that. I'm just trying to make sense of who's responsible, who's not. So here's
no way.
Here is mine. Because my thing is this. I believe in treating everyone equal. Even though we're not equal, there's certain things that you have to bear the burden to. So if you're going to tell a man he's responsible because he laid down, he should have did something. As a woman, If you got pregnant, then you don't have no motherfucking options. You gotta ride that motherfucker out now because you should have did the same shit he had to. Now,
I disagree.
huh?
I disagree.
No, I don't agree with that either. I'm using the same logic that you did.
I got you.
Now here's my logic, right? And this is my theory, right? Now, as a woman, you dating a man who has 8 baby mamas, 9 some kids, and he gets pregnant with you. He said, I ain't doing shit with them kids. As a mom, you on your own. Call a spade a spade. You are on your own. If you realize you cannot hold that kid or be able to, at this point, he showed you he ain't shit. Why does he bear the burden? Because you know you ain't getting paid. Because you got a lot of dudes out there, good dudes, that eat the shit into that because you have women scheming to get pregnant by them. And now, oh yeah, I got him. He's locked down. And now he's like, damn. Because all she was like, I'm on the pill. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Now, if you tell somebody, if you got HIV and you have sex with somebody, you don't tell them, you can go to jail. You can go to jail for that. So if a woman sets a man up to get pregnant for financial advancement,
Well, getting somebody pregnant doesn't cause death. It doesn't have the potential to cause death. Unless you're just emotionally unstable. I mean, I shouldn't be laughing at that, but unless you're emotionally unstable, getting somebody pregnant is not gonna.
So you're talking about scheming somebody for 18 years of life is Hey, Brandy said I'm dead. She said I'm dead. So you telling me that
you use HIV because somebody could possibly die if they acquire HIV.
Yeah, but clap anything. If you have sex with somebody, give them a sexually transmitted disease, and you knowingly do so, you can get in trouble for that. But a woman can intentionally entrap a man and not whoop shit up. He should have known better. Like,
yeah, I agree. I keep telling you, it goes back to the burden part. So let's put it this way: if men had to bear the weight of carrying a child, do you think the men would do what they do? No.
If what?
If the men had to carry the child,
would they do what they had to do?
Would they do what they're doing now? Like now, it's just stick and move, right? Yeah. You can stick and move. If men had to carry the child, it wouldn't be a whole bunch of sticking and moving.
No. But that's why the marriage.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's why the marriage.
That's by natural selection. The woman, because of natural selection, women had to bear that weight. So that's why I say, like, no, we as men get off scot-free.
Disagree.
We get off scot-free. We bear no weight. We bear financial weight, and that's it. And then that's based on how much you made.
I disagree with that.
What?
I do. I'm just saying I disagree.
That's
all I'm saying.
Sorry.
All right. Well, we agree to disagree on that one.
Now let's back on that topic about the financial burden part. What I don't like is the fact that it's based on how much that man makes or how much that household makes. I don't agree with that.
That's the whole basis I was making. What the fuck are you talking? That's the whole basis I'm talking about.
No, but we're not talking. You were talking about why somebody gets to choose and not choose. No, I'm talking about the responsibility.
I was talking about the financial responsibility that a man gets entrapped with. Now he has to keep. That's exactly what I said.
No, you're saying entrapped, but I know. But you're talking about why he has to pay. I'm talking about the amount he has to pay now.
Are you talking about the amount? You believe the amount? Even though a woman can literally seek out a man knowing that he's a come up, sleep.
Well, look, hold on. Like, you need to be careful, player. Look, you need to know who you're dealing with before you stick and, you know what I'm saying, decide to stick and move.
But why is it on both sides? Like, I get what you're saying, but whenever I say, why is it not done on both ends? Because I can say the same thing about the female. If the female talking to a nigga who know he ain't shit, end up pregnant, hey, look here. Like, what? Like, you gotta eat shit now. And you said, "Oh, that's not fair."
She don't eat shit. He still has to pay.
But the thing is,
but you're saying that if she doesn't want it, this is where you're going to circle. So you're saying if she doesn't want it, then she should have it if he wants it.
No, what I'm saying is this. You said that man and women, I said man and woman consent to relations.
Right.
She ends up pregnant. He wants to keep the baby.
And she
She
doesn't.
says no.
Right.
He has no say so.
No say
On the
so.
flip side, she wants to. He doesn't want to have the baby. She does. He just got to deal with it.
Because again, here we go. Let's look at this realistically. In the majority of states in the United States of America, physical custody is always automatically assigned to the mother.
Yes.
All right. The mom has to bear that child for X amount of months. All right. Typically 9. All right. That man can say, "Oh yeah, I want that kid," and roll out. Like, just go. I'm out of there. I'll holler at you once the baby is born. Get out of here. No, man. No.
Hold on. Here's something I'm about to get your ass with.
What?
Women do that shit all the time. After them 9 months, they drop them motherfuckers off for 10 years to a grandparent or something like that. Yeah, they did their 9 months, but then they dropped them off at grandma for 10 years.
You're categorizing. You're categorizing.
That's what you doing.
You're stereotyping. No, I'm saying he could. I'm saying a man can.
A woman can also drop her baby off on somebody and collect a check from that man for the next 18 years. For the next 18 years, he's been raised by grandparents.
So now, do you know who that falls on?
Who?
That falls on the person taking care of that child to take that mother to court.
I'm talking about grandparents.
That falls on the grandparent. There's grandparents that have custody of their grandchildren.
Now you're saying the grandparent is financially responsible.
No, what I'm saying is that grandparent can take that mother to court.
Okay. You're right.
Yeah, they can. They can take it. That grandparent. Now, some of them don't do that.
Most of them don't.
Most of them don't do that, but they should.
Feel obligated because they feel obligated.
Yeah, they feel obligated. Yeah, they feel obligated. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, we as men, like, we can roll out. Like, my bad, I'm out of here.
Hey, hold on. Brandon said, I will take my kids' asses to court. I do get what you're saying. I'm just saying that, like.
But women can't. I mean, so let's say there's a woman, like you're saying, you're using that. Let's say, I mean, there's so many scenarios. Let's say there's a female out here that has no other family. She has to bear that burden. You know what I'm saying? More than likely, if she couldn't do it, she'll probably put in the foster home.
I was talking about the stereotype women that seek out men for financial gain, using their kid as a pawn for financial gain.
But if you're a man of that, what's the word I'm looking for? If you're a man of that, in that stature, in that space, and we know these things, then you shouldn't be so consumed with whatever it is you're consumed with to negate the fact that that's a possibility. Like, before you decide to, hey, you need to make sure, you know what I'm saying, y'all been together for a minute. If you're a man of that stature, that's
you know, some of these calls, they'll ride that shit out.
They will.
So my thing is this. So a professional scammer that scams an old lady or just a random person, like that's what I look at it. The women that do that are scammers to me. So that's why I feel that it should be, well, she's the one. No,
hey, you're speaking with a lot of emotion and conviction here. Has this happened to you?
I always speak with fucking emotion and conviction because guess what? I have many No, this is for a fact.
Go ahead.
I got many homeboys, and I say many, that are on the spectrum of that. I got 4 cable toes out of class of 9. 4 of them, all of them have their own fucking kids because the moms want shit. So I'm only speaking from the group of individuals that I know.
This group of individuals, right?
Yeah.
How long they were acquaintances of these women before they decide to bear a child with these women?
Oh, I don't. Well,
see, that's the thing.
That's of them have different situations. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Like, we as men. I mean, come on now. Like, we as men have to be a little bit more diligent in how we do things and how we move.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if they started traveling before these things happened or after.
Nah, they was traveling afterwards. But before they even came in, there was already full custody type dudes. So
Gotcha.
they was already cut from a cloth. Like, I got mine.
Right,
Like,
but I'm
don't
saying
worry,
like
I got this.
in order to know how to read the other one, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so like I think that's why I said some of us get caught up in superficial things that we forget
Yeah.
about how to read the other side.
But
of
see, the
things.
thing is this: you're talking as a man who's been through that. We
Right,
gotta
right.
talk- we gotta talk about our kids. Our kids don't know fucking better, bro.
But okay,
We
so
like, and
you
as a
talking a whole
dad,
other topic. You
it's
talking a
our
whole
job to get them
right,
But hold
right.
on, hold on. You can't teach your kids everything, bro.
No, you can't teach them everything. We can teach them the most important. When it comes to women,
Yeah.
and when my daughters, when it comes to men,
Yeah.
we have these conversations.
I understand that, but
We
at the
have
same
these
time,
now. Do they fall in line with them all the time? No, but they have been educated.
But I'm gonna have my conversation with my daughter, saying, "Look here, you fucking responsible for your shit. Not on some, well, if a man gets you pregnant, you about to take it. No. If you make that motherfucking decision, be prepared for that nigga to go.
Yeah,
you can't
exactly.
live a life of,
you have to You have to be prepared. We've had that conversation in this household too. You have to prepare yourself to take care of your own, but we're not gonna let him just walk scot-free.
Yeah,
but you're gonna be in a position to do it on your own.
Yeah, hold on.
Having that is just a bonus.
Check this out. I'm gonna use the same shit you said about men. Watch who you fucking sleep with.
Right.
Because my thing is this, dog, I love you. You decide to open your legs to that motherfucking he ain't shit, that's your problem.
I agree.
Because you chose ain't shit, nigga.
I agree.
So if we gonna hold the men, these young boys accountable, hold these women, hold these young girls accountable too.
I agree. Now let's back to the other topic, the financial responsibility. I believe they know what the standard is to raise a child annually in the United States of America. Whatever that number is, if it's $20,000 a year, if it's $5,000 a year, that needs to be the standard across the board, no matter the child.
Okay.
I know some people gonna hate that, and some people gonna love it. Because, like, to me, you cannot lower the standard of living for, or say that it costs less to raise this child because his parents make less money, his or her parent makes less money, or it costs this much to raise this child the same age because their parents make more money. No, so how much does it actually cost to raise a child as far as clothing, basic necessities? How much does it cost? That should be a standard set.
Yeah.
I just don't like the fact that you get or that kid only gets $200 a month because his dad works at McDonald's. Really? But this kid over here, this kid needs $12.50 a month because his dad is an executive somewhere. That's bullcrap. That kid, if it costs $12.50 to raise a kid, then it's $12.50. My man, you need to go find some better 2-3 jobs to make sure that kid gets $12.50 a month.
Hold on, but the thing is this. Hold on.
What?
12, you said $12.50, like to some dude, $12.50 is. Case in point, 23-year-old dude, 22-year-old dude. He had a baby at 18. He's 19, 21 years old. He's not gonna get a job making $100,000 a year. He does not have the experience. He's gonna get 3 jobs, 3 jobs, get 2 hours of sleep, and he's not gonna be able to afford.
He can get 2 jobs now because the average wage now is about $15 an hour. Okay, he can get 2 jobs and afford $12.50 a month. Now he ain't gonna have the other luxuries in life, but oh well. So
I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that.
So let me ask you this. So child A only needs $250 a month to live, right? Right? His standard of living is only worth $250 a month. Right? That's diapers, baby food, everything. $250 a month. But child B can get $12.50 a month. Who's having a better life? Who's having a better life?
Well, the child making more money.
So is it the cost of raising a child, or is it a standard? That's my question. Like,
no, I understand what you're saying, what it is, but my thing is for that brother that.
Well, guess what? If that was the law, then that brother would think twice before he impregnated somebody or took the chance on impregnating somebody.
But if it's based on his actual income, so here's where I disagree with you, right?
Right.
There should be a cap. I believe it should be based on what that brother makes.
No,
but
it should be based.
It should be based It should be a cap because B Fish in the building. He said this.
What did he say?
Some of them quit paycheck type jobs. Oh, I see this. I see this all the time. I see this all the time. I got a brother that coached with me that did the same shit. He said, I see some of them quit paycheck type jobs for cash paying jobs to avoid a standard amount being set based on
Exactly.
proof.
That's why I said set a standard. If it costs X amount of dollars, every kid in America, this is how much it costs to raise a child.
Yeah.
It's a set amount. It ain't no based
Yes.
on nothing. This is what it is.
But if that 22-year-old cannot make enough to pay, I get what you're saying. The reason I'm saying this is because I watched this mental health documentary
Go ahead.
where I'm talking about those dudes that's like grinding literally hours and hours upon hours. I just did the stat. Someone working 2 back-to-back jobs, they're only making if they make 2 40-hour work weeks. So they work from 8 o'clock at night to what's 16 hours to 10 12 o'clock. Giving them 4 hours sleep. They're making $1,200 a week.
Okay.
And that's before taxes.
Okay.
What I'm saying is this: I get what you're saying, but
why do they have to make so much? Why do they have to work so hard?
You said that if the
I'm asking like why.
You said if the standard is going to be the standard. So if it takes $1,250, or $1,250 or $15 or $2,000 a month.
Look, I'm talking about the documentary. The documentary you watch. Why did those guys have to work that many hours? Because they had one kid. Like I want the whole story of the documentary.
No. So it's not about. It was more about it was mental health and suicide and the pressures upon men.
But why do they have to work that much? That's the question.
What do you mean? I'm lost.
You're saying they work. They only got 4 hours of sleep a day.
It was a mental health documentary, and it wasn't just child support. They had men in debt, men child support, on tax. Like there was a lot of things. And they was talking about the stresses on them to be able to provide a certain amount of money, and it was like I'm trying.
But listen what you said. This is why I asked for the whole backstory.
Yeah.
You talked about situations that they created themselves, back taxes, whatever, child support. These are situations.
But that don't mean they hadn't necessarily created themselves. It could have been created by an ex that left his ass for the rich dude on top of the hill, and now his ass is stuck with the bill.
Okay. Again. Wait. Time out. That's still a situation he created himself, because you said an ex. People are only allowed to do what you allow them to do. Like if you're talking about credit cards and all that, in order for that ex, they have to be an authorized user. I don't care if it's your wife or husband. You have to make them an authorized user. And if you couldn't track and see that they was messing up, then that's on you.
Once again, we're talking about kids, bro. Like
well, you stop saying kids, because kids to me is probably that still live at home and still in high school. If you out of high school, you're not a kid.
I understand.
Like I said again, like we got 18-year-olds. I tell my kids this all the time. 18-year-olds that are fighting and dying for our country, that are responsible for equipment that's worth millions of dollars. That's not a kid.
Yeah.
No, you have the mental fortitude if you're held accountable for it.
Yeah.
Like me.
But the thing is, there's just so many different other things that don't even come into play. So if you gonna say, all right, it takes $1,250 to raise a kid, bro, like you gotta understand, in Texas compared to California, you know what the fucking cost of living in California is?
Listen to what I said. That's why I said it needs to be a standard. Like, okay, let's say we do it state by state. It needs to be a standard.
It still can't be a standard because check this out. Check this out. If me and the ex got together, we living in Brick City, the projects down the street, and what it costs to go there compared to over here, my kid's been going to private school for 7 years of his life, and it cost him.
I'm glad you brought that up. So
$10,000 a year.
That's why the schools in our lower income neighborhoods are the way they are, because of that mindset. We're saying fuck the standard. It's because of where they live. This is what they deserve. Because of the money that their parents make in the neighborhoods they live in, this is what they get. That's the same mentality right now. That's why I don't like it. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. That's how I feel. kid in Frisco, whatever their educational system, should be the same thing the kid in South Oak Cliff needs in their ISD. It can't be, oh, the South Oak Cliff ISD only needs this budget because the taxes in this area are only this much. It's the same.
You tell me his dad he makes $22 an hour, right? He can afford to pay child support for his kid to go to a $20,000 a year school. Like all I'm trying to say is make it make sense, because it doesn't. Like, because you telling me child support. No, it doesn't.
I'm saying. So how much do you think it would cost to raise one kid in the state of Texas? How much do you think it would cost annually?
Depends on the situation. And look, this is one thing I've never. This is one thing I've never believed in. I don't believe in cookie cutter situations. Everyone, look, as much as we all want to say we're the same, we're not the same.
So then you can't argue the ISD thing. You cannot argue the ISD thing. If you don't believe in cookie cutter, then that applies to everything. You cannot argue the school system. You can't argue it.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking. See, that's okay. I'm gonna go slow again.
Hold on. We got somebody that's coming. Monica said every child doesn't have the same expense, so should child A automatically got to go to private school because child B does? Also, basically, she's saying that if child A does, that means once put on child support, that man should pay enough for child B also to be able to go to child support, be able to get to private school. Then she comes back and says, or does child B have to drop out of private school? Also, basically, she's saying, where's that median met?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So y'all are looking at, I said, the basic salary to raise a child, right? Yeah. Let's say the parent that makes $100,000 a year, right? Let's say let's arbitrarily, we're going to say it's $200 a month in Texas to raise a child. $200 a month. That's how much it costs. To clothe and feed a child is $200 a month. Okay.
Let's go.
That does not stop.
Henry for governor right now. Henry for governor.
that does not stop the parent who makes $100,000 for sending his kid to a private school. His child support obligation, if he's divorced, is only $200 for his ex.
Yeah.
To support that child. Now, if they go to court and he has a good lawyer and says, hey, we want our kid to maintain private or go to private school based on how much he makes, he's responsible to pay his tuition for a private school. That can be worked out. That's in a divorce decree. That's totally different. Okay. I'm talking about the minimum. I'm talking about the minimum that it takes to raise a child in the state of. That's what I'm talking about.
What I was originally getting from you was like that. Okay, all right.
No.
You play this much. Let's meet in the middle somewhere. And it's like, okay, hold on. No, you threw out a number like 1250, and I'm like, dude. You understand 1250?
I was just using that number because I don't know what it costs to raise a kid.
Because that's what I'd be like, yo, bro, 1250? Like somebody.
Hey, Brandy, can you bring my charger, please?
Hey, man, can't talk to our guests like that. Okay.
I said please, but no, that's what I was saying. Whatever the standard is to raise a kid, whatever that minimum is to raise a kid annually, that should be what it costs for every kid in that state. And I did say in America, go ahead.
Whatever that parent, I'm not going to say man because sometimes it's a woman.
Sometimes it's a woman.
Whatever that parent has to pay extra is worked out or something like.
It's worked out in a divorce decree or something like that. Yeah, right. If they're able to afford it, because the judge can look and say, that's too extreme. He can't afford that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Because realistically, let's think about it. Like, how much a kid eats a week?
Exactly.
Because the number they, like when you said 1,200, you sound like one of them fucking lawyers. Like,
before I forget, that goes back to your what did you call them girls?
Which one?
That's trying to catch somebody up. What do you call them?
To my gold digger?
No, you just use the word whatever you use. You know how you say like she might try to find her a good one and try to lock them in.
Yeah.
That fixes that, because if the set standard is $200 a month,
no, that fixes that problem.
Right,
now,
that fixes that problem.
I'm about to go get this NBA player or this up and coming.
Right.
Let
me get my charger. I'll be right back.
Oh, this motherfucker. Hold on. This motherfucker. Get your charger. Brandon said, hell no. She ain't getting your motherfucking charger. Get your black ass up with your motherfucking charger. I don't know, bro. I don't know if I completely agree with that. It's gonna be after one of those agree to disagree type things. But I do like the minimum. The minimum is nice because now it keeps all them headhunters from attacking somebody. I like to say thank you, Big Fish. I go by Big Fish. Monica and Brandy stopping through.
It's 10
Mr.
o'clock.
Mr. Versace with this.
It's 10
Oh
o'clock.
yeah. No, it's not 10 o'clock. With the Versace robe, the Versace glasses.
You thanking everybody for coming through?
No, I'm just saying thank you because I mean you left the live stream. So no, what I'm saying is what you brought up helps fix that problem.
Right.
Because if you'd have watched the NFL draft this year, did you see that?
No, I don't watch that no more. 'Cause
Oh
the
my
Cowboys
gosh.
suck. They don't even draft right.
They had every Becky and every Keisha that was sitting right next to that, like just on the couch. You'd have mom, you have her like, yay, we came up. And she probably just met that motherfucker a year ago because she's
Right.
seen them rising.
But
And she
remember,
could-
we talked about that too a couple of years ago. We said
Mhm.
with the way the climate of these young athletes,
Yeah,
they need to start learning, taking finance classes.
yeah, that's true.
And I'm not talking about your basic economics class or your basic
No,
finance class. I'm talking about finance classes dealing with athletes.
Basically, not the bullshit you learn in the public schools, basically.
Right. Yeah. They
Or
need
private
they
schools,
need
for that matter.
right. They need
Mhm.
5 finance classes for athletes and the ins and outs of it. Just like they give them the media class on how to talk, what to say, what not to say, how to be
You know
politically
what?
correct.
I can't remember who I was talking to some years ago. I'm not sure if it was Monica or who I was, but we were talking about the players union and why aren't they making it a requirement for that first check to say, hey, look here, you have to get a CBA. Got to. You look at you want to be part of this union. You want to be a part of this union. You got to get you a CBA.
They haven't thought about it. Like even they weren't educated. They had to learn on their own. You see what I'm saying? And I'm
But, like,
surprised they
But
haven't.
you got a lot of these older players that been in long enough. Like,
Right.
okay, hold on, we got to figure out how to make these kids who get millions of dollars not be broke as hell in 5 years. So a part of the union is your mandatory classes. Think about it in the government. Hell, even when I was a contractor, there were certain things that was required in a part of a union. That was actually one of my things I was going to talk
But I
about.
think that's too late too, JR.
How's it too late?
Because you have kids now that are like, come on, with the new NLI rule,
Yeah.
like it's kind of, they need to get it in high school. If you
No,
are an
no.
athlete, to me, you need that a special finance class as an athlete.
Like we talked about this. I'm
I know,
realist.
that's why I'm bringing it up. We talked about this a couple of years ago.
I'm a realist, and realistically speaking, it's not going to happen in high school.
No, it's not going to happen.
So,
But-
the players union,
But we can make it happen.
how?
Okay, let's talk about NCSA.
Yeah.
Who's that for?
Who's getting the money? Oh,
I mean, NSCA. Like who is that created for? They go to every
Parents.
school in America.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They try to get the parents to, hey, buy our services. We'll get you
Yeah,
promoted.
We'll get your kid. We guarantee. We'll
So
get them
that's a private entity that has stepped into the schools, and the schools have allowed them to promote within their school system. So the thing that you and I had talked about a long time ago, I think a private entity can step in and offer those services.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
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 Okay, that is.
Yeah.
Hold on. Here's the thing, though. That's such a niche thing
It
because
is.
99.99999% of the motherfuckers you're talking to ain't even going there.
But how many of the kids in high school believe they are? And now, like, we can't even really say that too much anymore because of the NLI. Like, you got kids that'll never be pro, but are still marketable in college.
True.
You see
But
what I'm saying?
But more than but let's be honest. These big branded companies aren't going off a kid they think's going to make it to the
No,
league.
they're not.
They're
But
pretty much.
the private services that are offered,
Oh, I see what
the
you're saying.
ones they're not going to come. Like,
I
you're
see
not
what
going to
you're saying.
pay.
Gotcha.
No parent pays NSCA to promote their kid if they don't think their kid has a realistic chance of going to college.
Gotcha.
And if they do, they just wasted their money. So it's the same thing with the private financial services. You got to pay
Why
for those.
not? So how about this? Since they're allowed to have agents now, why
Yes.
doesn't the agency provide that type of education?
Good question.
Yeah. Huh? Oh, I'm live. I'm live. I'm live. I'm live. I'm live. Like people are on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem. Now I got that from next door.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
My bad, y'all. That was
Special guest.
special guest in the building. I just wanted to stop by with the mama.
We're gonna invite
But
somebody to comment live. I want to hear other people's voices.
but hold on, that's Thursday, man. What are you talking about? It's Thursday.
No, I mean like comment live, not special
live.
guests. I mean like comment live.
Okay.
Like, remember we said the first one to hit the link? We tried that last week and nobody wanted to hit the link.
Nah, nobody was. They wasn't ready. They wasn't ready. Oh, so check this out. I'm glad we kind of touched on a little bit. We only got like 7 minutes left. It was a reference. It was big news today. The union. What do you think about the
union?
Amazon? So basically, Amazon
Uh-huh.
lost their battle in court, and they
what?
did not. Well, not in court, but they didn't use it. Amazon employees are not unionized.
They are or not?
They were not. They did not. The vote failed.
They didn't make enough votes.
They didn't make enough votes to utilize. And I was just thinking and curious, what do you think about unions within themselves?
I belong to a union. I belong to UAW, and I worked at the Ford Motor Company, the same union that General Motors here in Texas has. United Auto Workers Union. It's United Auto Workers Agriculture and Aerospace. It's the largest union in the United States. I like it and I don't like it. There's pros and cons. The cons are that everything is seniority based and not qualification based. Another thing is that sometimes the unions protect people they shouldn't protect. Like it's hard to get fired from a job if you're a union. It's really hard.
Yeah, it is.
It's super hard. Like let's say you're a drug addict. Oh, you gotta go through so many classes, then rehab, all this before you get fired. Like, so it's good and bad.
Yeah. I was a part of a union. Brandon says I'm in trouble. I was a part of a union before. Oh, damn. On my way. I got the on my way, Jack. So I was a part of a union before I joined the military. I worked at Kroger at the age of 14. They said, "Oh, join the union." I was like, "Okay." Had no idea what it was.
You worked at where?
Kroger.
Oh yeah, they're union. That's why I shopped there. I like them.
Pissed off was I, 14-year-old me. But come on now, you only make like $7 an hour.
How many hours did they take?
Man, like, I got my first check because they asked me like, "You want to be part of the union?" Yeah, man, let's do this. We in the union. Man, I got that check. Motherfucker took like $14. I was pissed.
$14?
Yes.
Oh, that's nothing.
Man, bro.
It's usually 2 hours. They took 2 hours from every paycheck for us.
When you only making like $200 a check, you know what I'm saying? You got FICA, and all them other motherfuckers.
But you have to pay for your union reps.
But look at 14 years old, I don't give a shit about union reps.
Well,
And here's the thing about Kroger's stinking asses. All right?
but-
They don't represent the bag boys and the bag girls.
oh wow.
Yes. So I'm playing union dues. For one day, maybe I can be a cashier and they can represent and help me. But as a bagger, they don't do shit for you. But yet you can be a part of the union.
That's
Fast
crazy.
joined the military, got out, joined the union. Not only was I joined the union, I was part of the union. And I was able to see the good side and the bad side of the union. You hit a couple of key points. Being a union rep, a union employee, it was probably kind of cool because like you would have supervisors that couldn't even talk to you a certain way. They had to go talk to your union rep. You go talk to him. But I seen the system be exploited so many times. Like, and the thing that sucked for me dealing was like,
Monica said they forced. That's illegal.
Kroger forced you to join the union.
Yeah, that's illegal.
Well, hold on. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. When I showed up to my first facility as an air traffic controller, the union rep walks in because they was all right. I'll talk to you. Union rep walks in and says, 99% of the facilities
Yeah.
is with the union,
Yeah.
and he leaves. That's it.
That's the same
He
thing.
don't-
Same thing.
Bro, he don't give me like what are the benefits, the pros, the cons. He said
Yeah.
99% of the facility is part of the union, and he leaves. And we're like, Well, shit. Now here's the thing: it's so seniority based, and there's a lot of I don't how do I say this with being politically correct? Because y'all know I don't give a fuck about being politically correct on the
Wow.
show. Um,
Monica, that's a
that
lawsuit.
was that. Monica
Even
said, "What's
yours.
up?"
Like if you're paying union dues, you're paying for representation. You should have a committee man on site. That's a lawsuit. If they said they
That's
didn't
the
represent him,
COVID
then
thing, bro.
he had no business paying dues. He should get back pay for all of that.
No, and he never got a raise. Backers don't get raises. I
But he
worked
was
there
a
for
clerk.
3 years.
He was a
Yeah,
clerk.
it's close. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
What I don't know
So,
what union that was. Go ahead.
but damn, I lost train of thought.
You were
No,
you came
so
in
yeah,
and told y'all
yeah.
99%.
And I just walks out, leaves. Of course, we joined the union. Um, when it came to vacation times, like you didn't have to you didn't request it to the supervisor. The union determined it. It was.
See, ours was different.
I understand the reason for unions to make sure big companies don't take people for granted. But I think in this modern times, I'm not saying unions are outdated. I'm just saying that like the practices within themselves need to change. Because when I was a union, I'm not gonna say it helped me more than it hurt me, but like I don't know, I just seen a lot of bullshit going on.
Well, I guess it depends on you because the UAW, I can tell you this: the UAW is a great union. So they guarantee everybody gets raises, right? And we get signing
Yeah,
bonuses. Every time there's a union contract signed, there's a bonus signed. They're
yeah,
responsible for determining how much profit sharing we get.
hmm
And like when the plant got shut down, they helped negotiate the buyout process. Um,
yeah,
so now the things that you don't need a union for, or you don't need to be in your union. Let's say I wasn't part of the union, but I still worked at Ford. I would still get all those things. But what I would not get, if let's say I missed work and I went to the doctor and I forgot to call in and they're ready to fire me, there's nobody for me to call to represent me and say, hey, no, you can't fire Mr. Henry.
yeah.
Like he was at the hospital, boom, boom. If they want to get rid of me, they could have got rid of me. But if
So
that happened to me, I
yeah,
forgot to call. I can call my committee man. Yo, I forgot to call in. It's gonna be a no call, no show.
yeah,
Boom, and the committee man would take care of it because before they can fire me, they have to go through the whole union process, write a
yep.
grievance letter, have
Oh
a
yeah.
hearing, all
Uh,
this other, and I could appeal that. While all that's going on, I'm still working and getting paid.
yeah.
So
There was so many grievances filed. Now, what I noticed about my facility, and even when I went to another facility, that was the first facility had about 120 of us. Of those
yeah,
120, there's about 2 or 3 that were not in the union. Typically, the ones that are not in the union are older. They were in the union for like 20 years.
gotcha.
And shit went wrong, so then they
Right,
decide not to be there. But they're not the people that the supervisor can fire. When I went to my
gotcha.
second facility, the exact same situation. So though, typically, the people who are not in the union usually got 20 plus years in, and something went
Right,
awry, and I don't know, it was just kind of funny, or they went into management positions and then like something went wrong, they went back. But once you go back, you start back at the bottom. You got no seniority. And they're like, fuck
right.
it, well, there's no need to be part of the union. So you never
I'll give you
see
another.
really.
I'll give you another thing a union is good for. At least the UAW. If there's a layoff, whatever. So
Yeah,
let's say I'm used to making 2,000 a week, and unemployment only pays me 500. The union covers the rest.
yeah,
The
that
union
is
pays
true.
me the other 1,500 while I'm laid off. So I'll continue to get my regular pay and go back to work. So during COVID, I'm pretty sure all these guys at GM got their regular pay until they went back to work. They opened the plant back up.
Hold on, check this out. B
Right.
Fish says this. At his job, if you have a union job and don't pay dues, they're still supposed to represent you.
What? What union is that?
Yeah.
Nah, no, I don't know about that one. That's a good
I
union.
mean,
I mean, that's
I
kind of
don't know.
that's because if I found out about it, I
What's,
wouldn't pay Jack.
what, what, what's the incentive to join the union? Shit, I'm
Yeah,
wondering.
what's the incentive to join the
Yeah,
union?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind
But
of weird. Oh,
no,
it's
it's funny
10.
because yes, Tim,
You're
I'm
2
about to shut
minutes
it
over.
down. I'm about to shut it down. What I did end up hearing about that thing, they did interview the workers, and He says, "We're coming for you, Mr. Bezos. We're coming for you." And I'm like, that one I didn't understand. I did not understand that logic.
Because I want to know who counted the votes. And then like another thing is, like I need to, so because unions don't have to be nationwide. It could be just at one plant.
True.
Like that's why you have different local, because like we were local 919, like another plant didn't have to have
New York. That was in New York. It was
so maybe I wanted that any other Amazon plants get the union pass. They were probably strong armed. They probably threw away some votes. Like, you know, all that kind of stuff happens with
Monica says AT&T works like that.
What's that? Oh.
So, B-Fish, I completely understand what you're saying. He said all unions are legally supposed to provide union representation if you have a union sanctioned job. That is true. But as I know for sure, representation can be subjective. When I mean subjective is, I've seen union work, like union reps that file a grievance for somebody else. It's like, all right, here's you. And the energy is a little different when trying to support somebody not part of the union in the union. Yes, legally, in my job, in my career field, they were supposed to represent everybody, but the energy was just a little bit different if you weren't part of the union. Hell, we had a whole union.
Because when you're paying dues, you're paying their salary.
For the union rep?
Yeah, so like you have a committee man, that's your floor level rep, but our union dues pays their salaries. They don't work.
Oh, what? No. See, my job, the union reps got paid by the same company. So the dues went to nationals, and nationals paid the chapter. So we would have like cookouts. Like, no, our monies didn't go to pay
for UAW. All our dues go to nationals, and national pays all your union rep salary. That's why you have elections, just like a presidential election. You vote for your committee man, you vote for your president, your vice president, your secretary. You vote for all them. Yeah. Wow, that's different. Hey man,
what's up?
You over by 4 minutes.
AFL-CIO. That was who.
AFL-CIO. That's a pretty big union.
That is the biggest union in the country.
Yeah, that's the biggest union.
But for us, no, it didn't pay for that. It didn't pay for the reps' salary. It paid for the nationals. For the local chapters, we got a kickback. They gave us money to do shit with, but.
Oh wow! No, ours paid.
All right. But we're gonna close things out. But I'm gonna go ahead and Rick B. Fish. Yeah, you make it a public defender, but they show up on your behalf. Still get one. He said, B. Fish is our union stewards and chief standard. Yeah, see, that's what I thought. Yeah, so that's the union I was with.
Now we had committeemen.
See, yeah, so for us, our union, like my facility rep, union facility rep, he worked right next to me. He wasn't the thing. But here's the thing about him. When he walked in the building, though, the supervisor's like, shit, okay, God damn it. Because he come sit down, he was like, yeah, okay, I'm in here.
Well, I guess
he do the same job.
I guess for us, we had 2,500 employees, just like the General Motors plant. They got to walk the plant.
No, so here's the thing, though. Our facility rep, see, my job required so many hours a month. It's called proficiency time. So the way it was written in our contract, or not contract, but our bargaining unit, is that to be a union rep, you had to still work that work. They didn't want a supervisory type union rep. So in our bylaws, our national bylaws, our union reps have to work. Now, granted, they only work 1 day a week. The rest, they're walking around checking to make sure everything, but they still have to plug in. And still
you're gonna have to say the rest of that story for Thursday, because I'm about to cut you off.
All right.